everyone, this is Jess from the Estevan Public Library, and today we are going to be making felt flower bouquet. This will be a nice present for your Valentine or just for yourself. So this take and make kit is available at Estevan Public Library, but if you're following along at home, here's what you'll need. You'll need between 6 and 7 pieces of felt. Make sure at least one of them is a green piece. Some ribbon. I cut mine to about 30 centimeters long. Eight pieces of wire that are cut between 13 and 18 centimeters long. Some very sharp scissors, a ruler, hot glue gun, and these patterns, which are in the kit but will provide PDFs on Facebook as well. Now that you have everything, let's get started. The first flower we'll be making is the rolled rose. For this, you'll need a sheet of felt, your pattern number 1, and a piece of wire. To begin, cut out your pattern number 1. Take the petal pattern and place it on the sheet of felt. You can set aside the leaf pattern and the piece of wire for now. Next, start cutting around the outside edges of the petals. If you have pins handy, you can use those to secure the pattern to the felt. Once you're finished cutting the outside petals, it's time to cut the inside ones. You can do this in one of two ways. You can start by cutting along the flat line first, and then cutting around the petals after. Or you can cut around the petals first, and then trim the flat line after that. In this example, I'm going to be cutting around the flat line first. I just find that easier, but you can do whichever way you prefer. Once you're finished cutting, be sure to keep either the felt or the pattern from the center circle. We'll need that later on. Once you're done cutting your pattern out, it's time to start gluing the felt to the wire. First, take the inside end of your felt and add a little bit of glue to the edge. Next, take your wire and place the tip of it into the glue, keeping it hidden behind the felt. Then, very carefully, start rolling. You may need to hold the pieces together to make sure it's secured. Once it's dried, you can start gluing the rest. This next part is best done in small stages. First, place a little bit of glue along the flat edge of the petals. Then, very carefully, you can start rolling the felt until you reach the end of the glue. Repeat this process until you've reached the end of the felt. Slow and steady wins the race with this one. Take your time while gluing to save both your felt and your fingers. Once you reach the end of the felt, add a little bit of extra glue to the very end. Very carefully hold it in place until it's dried. You're now done the first part of the flower. So now that we got the first part of the flower done, we're going to start on the second part. So you can take this little circle that was left over from your pattern and place it down, and we're going to make 4 petals that are a bit bigger than this. So I'm just going to do a loose outline along this. Just like that. So make one more. I'm going to repeat that step 3 more times. If it looks a little wonky like this, you can always go and trim it up a little. Just like that. And once you have your 4 pieces, start with these 2 here. Take one of the edges and put a small slit. Doesn't have to be too big. Just like that. For this guy too. Just has to be a small one. Take your hot glue gun and take one side. So I'm going to do this one. Put a little bit of glue there. A small bit. And then fold over the other side. So it kind of looks like there's 2 legs sitting cross-legged. This gives it your petal a little bit of texture. It makes it a bit round. So one more time, we're gonna put a little bit of glue just here. Take this piece and fold it over. There you go. You want to do that for your other 2 pieces as well. So once all 4 petals are folded, it's time to start gluing. So we'll take our first one here, and all along the bottom edge where the slit is, we're going to add some glue. I added mine about not quite halfway up on either side. Once we finished adding our glue, we're going to take our petal and press it along the bottom and up along the sides to keep it secure. If you find you didn't add enough glue and your petal is sticking out like mine, you can add a little bit more glue to the sides, just enough to attach it to the rest of the petals. And once we're finished with this petal, we'll continue with the other 3, placing them all around the flower. Once you're finished placing each petal around, if you find that they're sticking out a bit too far, you can always trim them back. For the last part of our rose, we're going to take our leaf pattern, that little star shape, and use it to cut out a piece of green felt. This will be our bottom leaf. Once it's cut out, fold it in half and cut a little tiny hole in the center of the leaf. Take your rose, turn it upside down, and place some hot glue around the bottom. Then we'll take our leaf, slide it down the wire, and carefully press it up against the bottom of the flower. Once it's dried, we can add some more glue to the little tips and press them up against the petal. So the next flower we're going to make is a chrysanthemum. So for this, you will need a sheet of felt that's at least 20 centimeters long, a ruler, your wire, and of course your scissors. You can also grab a sheet of paper and a pen to help you make this pattern. So we're going to set all of this stuff aside for now. Pull out a piece of paper and your ruler, and you'll want to start by measuring 6 centimeters, a width of 6 centimeters, right there. Then 20 centimeters in length, so right there. So once you have your pattern, you're going to place it on the felt, and then we're just going to cut. There we go. So once you have your felt all cut out, we're going to take our hot glue gun and run a very thin piece along one of the long edges. Then fold it over in half. And press down. Be careful, it will be hot. Just do it gently. So now you should have a piece of folded felt that looks like this. And now we take our scissors and cut along the folded edge here. And we're gonna go cut as many slits as you like. I'm gonna cut about that deep, so there's at least about a centimeter or at least a centimeter left of felt. Usually your glue will stop you there. So if you want to cut it shorter, just fold it in half first and then glue it. Yeah, now you get to make as many slits as you like. So once you're done cutting and your piece of felt looks like this, I'm going to take our wire and our glue. I'm going to add a little bit of glue down on that edge there. And place our wire right there. And very carefully roll it over. Again, if you can keep it as tight as you can. Hold it there for a minute. Once I think it's secure, we're going to continue gluing and rolling. Again, you can do this in little sections. Careful not to knock your glue gun over. Once you reach the end, just add a little extra glue and hold it down just to keep it secure. And there you go. You can pull off any extra hot glue strings again, but that's the first part of your chrysanthemum. For the last part of this flower, we're going to take our green felt again and our ruler, and taking our chrysanthemum, holding it upside down, just roughly measure how wide the bottom is. This one is about 2 centimeters. So we're going to cut out about a 3 centimeter circle. This one can be as rough a shape as you like, or it can be as nice and smooth as you like. Once you have it cut out, you can take your scissors, fold it in half, and just add a little slit in the center there. Just enough so the wire can get through. And we'll take our chrysanthemum, glue around the bottom there, poke that through. Just place it on the bottom there. Here we go. I'm going to trim it a little bit, very carefully not to catch anything else. Now you can go and you can add, keeping the petals up, I'm going to add a couple little dots here, just fold it up a little onto the flower. And there you go. Your own chrysanthemum. So the last flower we're going to be making is the layered flower. For this, you'll need powder number 2, 2 or 3 different colors of felt. I'm going to be using 3, your wire, and your scissors. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut out all the pieces that I need. So I'm going to be using the purple for the smaller flower and the pink for the larger. So once your flower pieces are cut out, I'm going to take them. We'll start with the big piece first. Fold it in half like that. So that looks like a little bit like a sandwich. And then in the center piece, or in the center, just gonna add a little slit there. Just enough for it to get through the wire. I'm gonna do the same thing to the smaller one. There we go. So once you have your 2 flowers cut out, we're going to be taking our ruler, and I'm just going to eyeball this a little bit, but we're going to measure 2 centimeters. Going to use this as guide. We're going to cut up to the 10 centimeter mark. Once you have your piece of felt cut out, we're just going to take it, and then along one of the edges, we're just going to make a bunch of little slits. Again, you want to leave at least a half a centimeter attached, but you can make them as long or as short as you like. So now that we have all our pieces cut out, we're going to start gluing. We're gonna set aside the flower pieces for now. I'm gonna start at this end of our centerpiece. So again, like the chrysanthemum, we're just gonna take a little bit of glue, put it on the edge there. Place the wire right there, keeping it tight. Once that first piece is secure, you can keep rolling. So now that we're finished with gluing the first piece, we're going to move on to the second. So we're going to grab our first flower here, the smaller one. I'm going to add some glue to the bottom of the center piece. Find your slit there. And press it gently together. So when you flip it over, it'll look like this. So now this part takes a little bit of time. You're going to take your glue gun, angle it a little like that, and just about at the, not quite at the base of the petal, just going to add a wee bit of glue there. And then press it up to the center piece here. I'm going to hold it for a minute so that you know it sticks. And then we're going to repeat that for each petal. So at the base of the petal, just add a little bit of glue. Then fold it up against flower. There we go. There. Once all the smaller petals are attached to the centerpiece there, we're going to repeat the process we did for the small flower. So we'll flip it upside down and add some glue to the bottom. Now we're going to grab our big flower piece and slide it down the wire. I'm going to position mine so that the petals won't overlap the smaller ones. But once it's in a position you like, press it down against the bottom of your small flower. So now that the big flower is attached to the small one, we're going to repeat the same process we did with the small flower petals. So at the base of one of your big flower petals, we're going to add a little bit of glue and press it up against the small flower petals. And we're going to hold it there until we're sure that it's dry and secure. And then we'll repeat the same steps for the rest of the 4 petals. And there you go. Once you're sure that everything is, all the petals are secured, you can go and kind of gently flare them out a little bit. Just give it a more 3D look. There you are, your layered flower. So the last thing we'll be making for our bouquet is some greenery. So for this, you'll need some green felt, wire, and your scissors. So I went ahead and cut out my leaves already. I made mine into teardrop shapes, but you can make them in yours into any shape you like. I made 5, but you can make between 5 and 7 depending how long your wire is. So once you have a variety of sizes cut out, we can start gluing. So we'll start with the smallest leaf. And take your glue, add a little bit to the bottom of the leaf. And at the very top of the wire, just fold it in on itself a bit like that. And there's your first leaf. So now we'll take the second smallest two, which I think is these two. Start with this guy. I'm gonna add a little, not quite along the edge of the base, right there. And just below the first leaf. Fold that one onto the wire. Like that. And we're going to keep doing that for the rest of the leaves. And there you go. Just a little touch of greenery. Doesn't have to be too fancy. This will be mixed in with the rest of your flowers. You'll have enough, so in the take and make kit, you'll have enough to make 2 of each flower and 2 pieces of greenery. So once you're all done that, it's time to make your bouquet. Take each flower and just arrange it however you like. Might be a little awkward just to get everything in there. The yellow at the back. This one up here. And some greenery on either side. There we go. So once you're happy with your flower arrangement, you can take the wire. This might take a little bit of hand strength, but twist it with the wires as best you can, just so the flowers stay together. So once your bouquet is arranged how you like, I'm going to take the ribbon, just add a little bit of glue to the edge here. Fall over. And we're going to carefully take your bouquet and as close as you can to the base of the flowers, place the ribbon, the glued end of the ribbon, onto the wires. So it should look like this. Then we're going to start rolling. I'm going to roll it once or twice around where I glued, like that. And then I'm going to start rolling it down, or rolling it down, kind of like that, keeping it nice and tight, so that I cover all of the wires. about this much left, so about 5 centimeters. Take that. I'm gonna add some glue here. Keep that tight and roll it around once. And then once you reach the very edge, you can add a little bit more glue to that, or you can trim it off. I'm gonna add more glue. And there you go. Gonna push out my flowers a little bit like that. Now you have a lovely flower bouquet. Thank you all for joining me on this week's Take a Make. If you enjoyed this project and want to show off your work, please be sure to tag us in your social media posts. If you have questions about this project or any other program, you can contact us at the Estevan Public Library. I hope you join us for our next Take a Make, but until then, we'll see you soon.